children, I hope you all are good. So once again I am here with the another topic of geography, that is agriculture. And in this chapter we are going to discuss about the different type of the agricultural activity, different types of the agriculture, different types of the crop, and at last agricultural development. So let's start the chapter with the agriculture. The first profession of the man, if you are going to ask, that is agriculture. Most of the economy you can see is still the agricultural based economy. Around the center of the agriculture production grew several towns, cities and civilization. But still many people are engaged in the agricultural activity, and they are growing different types of the food crops and as well as the commercial crops. So let's discuss with the economic activities. Agriculture is said to be an economic activity. There are four main groups of economic activities. One is primary activity, then secondary activity, third is the tertiary economic activity, and the fourth is the quaternary activity. So let's discuss step by step. Number one, we are talking about the primary activities. Primary activities means agriculture and all other activities which are related to the agriculture, that are known as the primary activities, such as horticulture, poultry farming, domestication of the cattle and other kinds of the activities related to agriculture is known as primary activities. Then the second economic activity is the secondary activities, where we are going to process the agriculture resource into the manufacturing thing. Means we have to take the raw material we are going to process with some procedure, manufacture of synthetic substitute or another chemicals, and we are going to manufacture the thing according to our utilization. So that manufacturing is known as the secondary activity. It can be the manufacturing of the textile, steel, baking, etc. So that is the secondary activity where we are going to use the machinery and the process of manufacturing. Then third is the tertiary activity. Tertiary activity is also known as the service activities, where we are going to provide the services to the primary, secondary and quaternary activities. For example, tertiary activities are having the transportation, communication, trade, insurance, banking, teaching, doctors, etc. These all are come under the tertiary activities or the services activity. Then the fourth is the quaternary activities. It is a new one and emerging field based on the high technology. Services like including, you can say, the managing department, managerial services, knowledge based activity or outsourcing, IT, information technology. These fields are come under the quaternary activities. So these are the four activities on which one economy is depending. Now what are the favorable conditions for the agriculture? Because it is not we can do the agriculture anywhere or anytime. There should be the favorable condition. See, in the map of the distribution of arable land in which cultivation of crop is possible only in the limited area. Means you can see the map in the next page, where you will find that the cultivable land is not available everywhere. It is limited area. So therefore the factors which affect the agricultural activity in the world required to be examined, because the population is increasing day by day and the demand of food is increasing. Now what we have to do, we are having the limited land, because land is not going to be increased, land is fixed, and now from that fixed land we have to increase the production. So several favorable conditions are essential for the development of agriculture even today. And these conditions can be categorized into two broad groups. One is the physical condition and the another is the human condition. Now what is physical condition? Under the physical condition we are having the three main categories. Number one, we have to check the climate, then soil and then relief. First, when we are going to check the climate, so we are going to check the moisture, temperature, light, wind, etc. And according to that, the type of the crops grown there. Then we check the soil type, what type of soil is found there. Black soil hai, red and yellow soil hai, alluvial soil hai, soil holds the nutrients, and soil is having a water also. So we need to check all those things, and according to soil type we grow the crops. Then third, we check the relief feature. Relief feature signifies the type of the land. Means you are on the high altitude, mountain है, plateau है, आपका plain area है, desert region है, what type of the relief is there. According to that we choose the crop, how to grow there the crop. And then second, physical condition के बाद second is the human factor influencing the agriculture. Human factor means they are also the social and economic factors, or you can say the cultural factor, like the ownership of the land, farm size, if it is big or it is small, then mechanization, how what type of the machines you are using, advanced technology or depend on the previous technology, availability of the power. That are the important factors that are called the human factors which influence the type of agriculture. So level of the economic development is also an important factor influencing the agriculture. So these human factor we need to be considered to grow any crop. Now number one, soil test, pest resistant, genetic alteration to make crop mature quickly, and crossbreeding of plants have been made possible by genetic engineering. It means these days we are using the different types of the machine, different type of the technology to increase the production. In developed country the size of farm is very big as compared to the India. India is very low, a very less size of the land farm, and their population is very high. And you are going to compare the population, so in developed country population is very less, land size is very big, population is less, so they have also brought the small scattered plots into the one compact holding. Therefore farmers are very rich in the developed countries. They carry farming like any business activity, unlike India. In India we are not enjoying the farming activity, but there they enjoying because it act as a business activity. Very few people are engaged in the farming because machines are used for almost every activity. Now moving to the arable land, above favorable condition relate to topography of land or soil or climate or relief. So they are vital for the agricultural activity. The land on which crops are going to be grow, that is known as arable land, because there we are going to cultivate any crop. And you can see in the map, you will find this is the distribution of the arable land. However, 45% of the world population make their living through the agriculture. Means mostly population, 45% is not a less amount. This population indulges in the agricultural activity. The proportion varies from 2 to 4% in developed countries to about 60 to 80% in developing countries. So still developing countries are the agricultural based economy. Now there is one factor has given to you, ASPVH. What is ASPVH? A means agriculture, S means sericulture, means rearing of silkworm to get the silk. P means pisciculture, means breeding the fish in the pond. And then viticulture, cultivation of grapes. Horticulture, growing of vegetables, flowers and fruits in the garden. So these are the important for the agricultural economy. Now we are going to discuss about the type of farming. There are different types of farming according to the land area, according to the availability of the technology or climate. So first of all, there is a subsistence farming or subsistence agriculture. Now subsistence farming is one where farmers cultivate the small plot of land and raise the crop production just enough for their own consumption. Means they are not growing the crop for the commercial or the trade purpose. They are growing the crop only for their own consumption. So that's why they practice the intensive agriculture. Intensive agriculture means the same plot of land for raising the different crops. So there is a pressure on the land. Means that land is small and we need to take out the more production from the land. So because of that, they are doing the intensive agriculture. Means little bit technology, little bit modern farming methodology, they are going to use it. Moreover, they are going to raise the livestock to supplement their low income. In India, intensive agriculture is favored by the tropical climate. Farmers generally raise 2 crops in a year in that particular land. Other countries where subsistence farming is carried, that is China, Myanmar, Southeast Asia, West Asia, etc. Now, one characteristics we are going to discuss about the subsistence farming. Number 1 is the shifting cultivation or nomadic herding. As the name suggests, shifting cultivation means the farmer is going to shift from one place to another. Now, this shifting farming is also known as slash and burn, or you can say zooming farming. Okay, this is the name of the shifting cultivation. What happened in this shifting cultivation? The farmer clear the patch of land in the forest or nearby the forest region, and the small patch of land he do the agricultural activity for its own consumption. After some time, he left that land and moved once again to the another part of the forest, then once again clear the another patch of land, and then started the cultivation. So in this way, the farmer is shifting from one patch of land to the another patch of land, and that is why it is known as the slash and burn or zooming or shifting cultivation. Tuber crop like the yams and tapioca are grown by this method. In this shifting cultivation, fertilizers are not used. As a result, this method of agriculture is described. They are the eco-friendly, and moreover the farmers are moving from one place to another. That's why the nomadic agriculture. Now, this type of agriculture still prevails in many parts of Africa, in some parts of the New Zealand, Andes in South America, and in many parts of the Northeast India. See beta, nomadic agriculture is associated with the nomadic herding also, because animal herders also move from one place to another in search of the grazing grounds. So, in part of South Africa, North Eurasia, etc., we can find this nomadic herding and nomadic farming. Now, moving to the intensive mixed agriculture. Intensive mixed agriculture, this method prevails in the countries where land is very short supply. Land is very less. For example, Western Europe, Mediterranean region. However, the size of farmer in these developed countries is still very large as compared to the developing country like India. It permits the mechanization in these regions. Variety of crops could be cultivated in the same small piece of land. Southeast Asia हो गया, 4 crops of rice are obtained from same plot of land during a particular year. So, tropical climate is a particular favorable for this intensive mixed farming. Now, moving to the commercial agriculture, commercial grain farming and livestock farming. The chief characteristics of this farming is crop specialization, because it is for the trade purpose, commercial purpose. So, crop specialization is there and livestock herding is also there. The commercial grain farming areas include the prairies of North America, where lots of wheat farmhouse you can see. The pampas of South America, especially in Argentina. And then steppes of Eurasia and wales in the South Africa. So, there are the special type of the crop grown. The temperate grassland are also form a climatic belt in the interior of the continent. Now, these grasslands are having very less population. So, both farming and grazing of animals can easily done at the commercial line. If you are going to the South America, there are huge states known as estancias. In all these grassland, agriculture is highly mechanized. Advanced technology is using in these farmland. Especially in Europe, agriculture is an intensive type, but in USA, Canada and South America, extensive agriculture is followed. The amount of capital and labor is also implied relatively very small. Therefore, it is also known as extensive agriculture. You know beta, wheat, oats, vegetable, oilseed, sugar, beet आपका हो गया, then they are cultivated in these area. In Europe, livestock farming is done in a minor scale. In Pampas, commercial grazing of animal is widespread, you can see. So livestock there are means in great number they are domesticating the livestocks. Then in prairies, wheat was previously the chief crop, but now mixed farming is also done on the prairie. But previously you can see the wheat farmhouse in the prairies. Then reason why livestock farming is more prevalent in the South America. Why these days the farmer are interested in the livestock farming? Because these areas are dry. And in Argentina, large herds of cattle and flock of sheep are reared on these estancias. Then second is plantation agriculture under the commercial agriculture. Plantation, it is known as monoculture. It is known as monoculture, mostly carried in the tropical countries. Huge plot of land are used to grow only a single crop, like tea plantation, coffee plantation. India you can see in the Assam etc., where the lots of tea plantation and coffee plantation area is there. Sri Lanka, spices plantation, rubber plantation in Malaysia. Then such single crop farming is highly labor intensive, not the machine intensive. They are the labor intensive, and huge capital is invested. And originally it was introduced by the British in its colony for the main plantation crop like tea, coffee, sugarcane, rubber, bananas etc. But later on this continued, and these crops are mainly grown for export, trade purpose. And in Africa, pioneer settlements were also started on plantation, which provided the cheap labor. And modern plantation scientific techniques are applied for growing the crops. So plantation and commercial difference is that there is also the large farm and there is also large farm, but there the more than one crop grow, but in the plantation monoculture, single crop grow. Then dairy farming, grassland, they are found in the interior of the continent. So in pampas of Argentina or Uruguay, in the western parts of the American prairies, livestock farming these days are carried mostly. Why? For beef and meat. Coastal area receive fairly good rainfall, which makes rearing of dairy cattle important. You can see in the picture, है ना? Lots of cattle, lots of livestock are reared there, and there is a great demand of the dairy products also. With many new innovation, dairy farming has also developed on the large scale. The Netherlands has the largest number of small family farms and also some large commercial farms. They together constitute about 95% of the Dutch cattle. It's a huge amount, 95%. And the average production of per cow, if you are going to discuss now, it is several times more than in India. Highly productive cows are there. Case study on Netherlands has specially included so that you can understand how in Netherlands cattle are reared and dairy products are more important. So dairy development in India has played a major role in increasing the milk production etc. In India also we are using the dairy farming, and for increasing the dairy farming what we have done, we have started the white revolution to increase the milk production, to increase the dairy farming. India today ranks first in the world in butter production and third after the US and Russia in milk production. So the country like Brazil and Argentina in South America are now making efforts to develop their own dairy industries at much faster pace. Now agricultural season and major crops. See beta, there are mainly 3 agriculture season, that is also known as the agriculture or cropping pattern. Number 1 is the Kharif. Kharif is the monsoon crop, basically April, May. Major crops of this season are rice, maize, jowar, bajra, cotton etc. This Kharif crop, on the arrival of monsoon they sow it, and then after 2-3 months like July to September in between they harvest it. Then Rabi crop is also known as the winter crop, in between October to November they sow it. So major crop are wheat, barley, jowar, tobacco and oilseed. And then by the March and or April they started to harvest it. Then Zaid. Zaid is in between June and July. Major Zaid crops are fruit, vegetable, maize, rice, pulses. Basically, the major zaid crops are fruits and vegetable, because in between Kharif and Rabi crop season, the time is left, the month is left, that time is utilized as a zaid season or zaid crop. So these are the three cropping pattern. There is a considerable variation in the cultivation and distribution of agriculture crops, and particularly method of cultivation, soil condition, climate, mechanization, irrigation, etc. These all factors influence the type of crops. For purpose of easy understand, these crops can be classified into two main groups, so that you can easily discuss. One is the food crop and another is the commercial crop. So let's discuss with the food crops. Food crops means your cereal food crops are wheat, rice, maize, etc. So wheat is one of the major and oldest cereal crop in the world, and it was first grown in the Middle East and then spread to the other parts of the world. Generally, it needs the cool and moist climate, and growing season and dry and warm climate season at the type of ripening. So it is known as the Rabi crop, and temperate region mein you will find the wheat as a food grain. Rainfall varies between the 30 to 80 centimeter. If you are going to see the wheat production area, China, USA and then India also. The USA, Canada, Argentina, Australia are the main exporter of wheat in the world. In India, wheat is the Rabi crops and it is growing during the winter season. Temperature required here, it is the 10 to 15 degrees centigrade at the time of growing. And then temperature at the time of ripening, it needs not more than 20 to 25 degrees centigrade. Rainfall requirement in India to grow the wheat crop is 50 to 100 degrees centimeter, and in India nearly 88.4% of area under the wheat is irrigated in 2003 and 4. So wheat is grown in clay, loamy, black soil and well-drained texture with humus content. 68.38% of wheat in India is produced by the Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana states. Now moving to the rice. Rice is a tropical plant and thrives in high humidity and high temperature. It was first cultivated in the southern China as in around 5000 BC. India has the world's largest area under the rice cultivation, but is the only second largest producer after China. So in Southeast Asia, 3 or 4 crops of rice can be obtained annually. Rice is actually obtained from paddy, which is processed in mills. Bran and husk are used as fodder and fuel. Rice is a staple diet of half of the people in the world. और राइस के लिए we need the high temperature of about 20 degrees centigrade to germinate bloom, and rainfall we require in between 100 to 200 centimeter, and rice grows very well in the alluvial soil and nearby the river basin or the coastal plain. China, India, Indonesia, Bangladesh, they are the world leading rice producers. In India, rice is the kharif crop and grown in the northeastern state and as well as the coastal areas also. Here the rice needs the annual temperature of 24 degrees centigrade and rainfall in between 150 to 300 centimeter. In India, we are using the several methods to cultivate the rice. Japanese method of cultivation is considered the best. It uses better quality of seed which are raised in the nursery beds. This allows rice to cultivate in the terrace beds. So important rice growing area in India are the West Bengal, Bihar, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Odisha and Chhattisgarh. So rice is a kharif and wheat is the rabi crop in India. Now moving to the maize. Maize was first grown in the Mexico, it said about 10,000 years ago. It is today an important staple food crop in the Africa or in the Latin America. It grows on the variety of soil under different climatic condition. So maize has many industrial use also. It is processed into breakfast. Cereals, starches and adhesives are also used as a dry animal feed. You know beta, it is now finding use in the manufacture of biofuels also. So maize is using in biofuels, making biofuels. Many new areas particularly in the rainforest like Brazil. They are now brought up many land cover under the maize production. In India, maize जो है that is kharif crop, and it requires the temperature of about 20 to 30 degrees centigrade in India and 52 centimeter rainfall. Chief maize producing area in India are Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, Jammu Kashmir and Madhya Pradesh. Now important to know, maize is the native of South America, originally here grow, where it is grown in many colorful varieties, red, blue, pink, black colors of the maize, and it was introduced in the old world by Christopher Columbus in the 15th century here. Since then, many new uses of the cereal grain have been discovered. In Brazil, thousands of acres of rainforest, and in Argentina also has been used to grow the maize. Now moving to the millets. Millets are regarded as the dry crops as coarse cereal, not a staple food but the coarse cereal, and they are used for the fodder also and the consumption of the human also. Consist of variety of small grain cereal. India is by far the largest producer of the millet, 46.92%. India produce the millets. Other countries they are also producing, like Nigeria 18.3%, China 16.1%, etc. In India, millets include jowar, bajra and ragi. That you have to remember, because sometimes they are going to ask the question that what crops are including in millet. So mainly jowar, bajra and ragi, and they are the short growing seasonal crop. Many of these crops grown in dry areas are now being used for manufacturing for biodiesel also. Now rainfall requirement for the millet is about 50 to 120 centimeter, temperature 27 to 32 degrees centimeter centigrade, and the ripening season is about 4 to 6 months. Jowar and bajra are the kharif crops, and they are grown in the state of Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, etc. Ragi is also known as nachni in both kharif and rabi crops grown in Karnataka. Means ragi can grow in the kharif season also and as well as in the rabi season also, and grow in Karnataka, Andhra and Tamil Nadu. Moving to the pulses and soya beans, they are very nutritive food grains and include peas, beans, lentils, gram, etc. You know beta, pulses are the main source of protein for India. India is the largest producer and as well as the largest consumer of the pulses. Soya beans are now produced worldwide. Major producer of soya beans are Brazil, China, Argentina. In India, pulses are used widely and demand outstrip its production. Now moving to the commercial crop and agriculture development. So these were the food crops. Commercial crop पे आते हैं. Commercial crop or the cash crop which we use for the international trade or the trade to get the more profit, to earn the profit. So oil seed, these are generally fatty oil obtained from seeds of plants. Such plants are grown in the you can say the numbers tropical or subtropical countries. Some of the important crop: groundnut, sesame, rapeseeds, mustard, cotton seeds, sunflower seeds, soybean, castor and coconut. From these we are going to obtain the oil. India is a major producer and exporter of oilseed. It leads the world in the groundnut production. Both edible oil and as well as the oil for industrial use like manufacturing of soap, grease, lubricant, etc. They are also manufactured or made from the oil seeds. Now kharif crop, that is groundnut and sesame. Rapeseed and mustard seeds are rabi crops. Cotton seeds are obtained after ginning when cotton fiber has been removed. Temperature requirement for these crops varies between the 20 degrees centigrade to 28 degrees centigrade and rainfall 40 to 100 centimeter. Sunflower, since its introduction in 1969, has broken new grounds. Besides being used as an edible oil, it is also used for making the biofuels, soaps, candles and variety of cattle feeds. So sunflower we have introduced in 1969. Moving to the fiber crops. Cotton. Cotton is a fiber. Apart from cotton, jute, flax, hemp, they are also the fiber crop. Cotton fiber are obtained from the cotton plants that was first cultivated in India. Cotton fabrics were being woven in India that date back to the Indus Valley civilization. It is very oldest cultivation. Today, China is the world's leading producer in the cotton, followed by USA, Egypt and India in that order. There are 4 chief varieties of cotton. American upland, Egyptian upland, both have long staple varieties, and silken long staple cotton is grown in West Indies. Asiatic cotton is grown in China, India and Pakistan. You know beta, there are different variety of the cotton we found in the world, but you have to understand the cotton basically grow in the black soil, and it require almost about 210 frost-free days to grow. Cotton is picked immediately after the ball burst. You can see these balls. So immediately they picked up, and then cotton is best grown in area temperature I have told you 20 to 30 degree, 50 to 120 centimeter rainfall and 210 frost-free days. Cotton is usually a kharif crop but is also grown in Punjab, and now with the help of irrigation we can grow the other states also. Main producing states of the cotton are Gujarat and Maharashtra. Now see, cotton is also growing in the Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, and recently India has introduced the hybrid seeds which producing or proving a new wonder in the cultivation of cotton. Now moving to the jute. It's also a natural fiber native to India and Bangladesh. It is also known as golden fiber, that you have to remember. This question came into MCQ also. What is the golden fiber? That is jute, for its color but not its value. Jute stalks are cut close to ground and the stalks are then soaked into the water, and this process is known as retting. You can see this stalks. These cut down and then soak into the water for few days, and this is retting. In retting, long standards of the fiber are separated from the stem. The fiber are cleaned and then washed and then rinsed and then dried. So a coarser fiber are known as mesta, is also now grown specially for making gunny bags, where we can use the gunny bags for the cement or the other product to fill in. Jute plant require a temperature of more than 25 degrees centigrade and rainfall approx 150 centimeter. Among its chief producing countries, if you are going to see India, Bangladesh, China, it is also produced in the small scale Myanmar, Nepal, Thailand and Brazil. In India, the main jute producing states are West Bengal and after that Bihar, Odisha. Jute is facing stiff competition in international market. Why? Because of the synthetic substitute. Now we are having Terylon, the synthetic substitute nylon. So jute has to face the competition. In the recent year, two concerned government of the India and Bangladesh seems to have responded well by making blended fabrics of jute and synthetic. They are helping the jute industry to get the best jute raw products. Now moving to the flax and hemp. Flax originated in Egypt. Linen is woven from its stem fiber. Fiber is obtained after retting as in the case of jute, and hemp is the oldest cultivated fiber of plant of China and is used to make ropes, twine and rough cloths. Moving to the beverage crop, when we are talking about beverage crops, so we are having the tea, coffee and cocoa in our mind. So tea is mainly grown in India, China, Sri Lanka, which rank first, second and third respectively. And the three main varieties of tea is the black tea, then green tea and then oolong tea. So black tea is obtained from drying of leaves. It is grown mostly in India. Green tea is obtained by steaming process and oolong leaves is partially fermented. Oolong tea mainly comes from China, Japan and Taiwan. Tea needs an average temperature of 25 degrees centigrade and rainfall ranging in between the 150 to 250 centimeter, well distributed throughout the year. Sure hone chahiye. And the roots of tea plants do not tolerate stagnant water. So that's why on the sloping area they are growing. Therefore, hill slopes and well-drained soil are preferred for its cultivation, because in standing water, though it's a worst condition of the tea plantation. So, they need the slope. Now, the main tea producing state in India are the Brahmaputra and Surma Valley of Assam, West Bengal, Tripura, Darjeeling, Manipur, Bihar, Arunachal Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, etc. Then, India accounts for 30% of world production and it's the chief exporter of tea. Moving to the coffee, coffee plant is a tropical plant. It is native to the Ethiopia and the name coffee is derived from the Kaffa, a highland district of Ethiopia. It is said that an Arab goat herder, Kaldi, tasted what is this and what his goats were eating. So, it gave him a sense of exhilaration and discovering was proclaimed to the world. Brazil is now today the world's largest producer of coffee, followed by Colombia and Ivory Coast. Caffeine is also derived from the seed called coffee beans. 3 types of commercially cultivated coffee are, that is the Arabica, the first type, and then Robusta, and after that Liberia. These are the 3 types of the coffee. And you know beta that Arabica is superior quality of coffee used for ground coffee, and Robusta and Arabica are generally grown on the commercial scale. Liberia is chiefly used for instant coffee. To obtain coffee powder, coffee beans are roasted at a temperature of 99 degrees centigrade. You can see here the coffee beans, and then you can see after the roasting. Now, it grows well on the lava soil and rainfall must be distributed in between 125 to 200 centimeter in a year. Temperature is in between 18 to 28 degrees centigrade. It grows well on the tropical highland slopes to prevent waterlogging. In India, coffee is grown in the Karnataka's Nilgiri Hills, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. It has now been introduced in the northeast, Odisha and some other state also. Moving to the cocoa. Cocoa is obtained from a tropical South American tree known as cocoa. And the seeds are crushed and some fatty substance, they are removed to produce the cocoa powder. And is the basic ingredient in the chocolates, in the cola drinks. Ivory Coast is one of the world's largest producer of cocoa today. Cocoa, like coffee, also contain caffeine. Cocoa is grown in many other countries of the West Africa, with together with the Ivory Coast, etc. The tree has small pink flower which grow directly from the trunk and branches. You can see the picture of the cocoa tree. The pods can grow up to 30 centimeter. This 30 centimeter in size and found in yellow, orange and purple color. Small cocoa beans are fermented to their pulp. It is then dried, then shelled and roasted and grounded to the produce cocoa. Cocoa was introduced in India in late 1980s. It was grown on the experimental basis in Andhra Pradesh and Kerala, and then it requires a temperature 27 degrees centigrade and rainfall of 125 centimeter. That is more the better. The plant shuns direct sunlight but requires high humidity. For this reason, banana or other shady trees are grown in between the cocoa trees. Now, moving to the sugarcane and sugar beet. Sugarcane cultivated is usually confined to the tropical countries. Sugarcane plant is a very sturdy and tall plant, almost like a bamboo. It grows to the height of 2 to 4 meters and about 4 centimeter in the diameter also. Sugarcane needs the temperature range in between 20 to 30 degrees centigrade and is sown between January and April. And then after that, plenty of water is required during the growing period. So, therefore, we can see the rainfall requirement is 100 to 200 centimeter annually. Mostly well-drained alluvial soil and the lava soil is good for the cultivation of sugarcane. Harvesting begin in between the 12 to 18 months time depending on the type of crop. So, long ripening season for the sugarcane. The product of sugarcane are the sugar, sugar, then sugarcane juice, powder, gold khansari, jaggery, icing sugar, etc. Byproduct included the molasses used for industrial alcohol, fertilizer, rum, yeast, etc. The squeezed cane is used for manufacturing paper, fiber board and synthetic fiber, as well as the cattle feed also. That means we can use this squeezed cane. Now the European countries, they are trying their best to start the commercial cultivation of the sugar beet as a root crop. In recent years, sugarcane and its many byproducts, including the waste biomass, are finding use production of energy fuels as much as any country like US, France, Germany, Russia, Poland. They are promoting the cultivation of sugarcane. Traditional producer of sugarcane are Brazil, India, China, Thailand, Pakistan, Mexico and Australia. Moving to the tobacco. Tobacco is the herb native to the South America but cultivated almost worldwide today. The first settlers at Virginia in USA obtained seeds from the Spanish colony in South America, and they found this in 1612. And after that, the Virginia tobacco became the world famous. Europeans also introduced tobacco in the Balkans and Turkey. Tobacco needs the temperature of 20 to 40 degrees centigrade, but most important requirement is the frost-free climate like the cotton. Strong and dry winds are very harmful for tobacco. Rainfall we need 75 to 100 centimeter and well-drained sandy soil we require. Many special techniques are adopted to obtain best quality and best yield of the tobacco. Tabacum or Nicotiana rustica. The first variety is used for making bidi, cigarettes and cigar, etc. And the second variety is mainly used for chewing tobacco, preparation of the snuffs and hookah tobacco. It is not good for the health. So please, this is the information how the tobacco is growing. Now the most important method of processing tobacco is curing to impart color, texture and aroma. Virginia variety is also produced in India, which is the second largest exporter of tobacco after the USA. The largest producer of all variety of tobacco is China. Brazil and Russia are also leading producer. Cuba, Jamaica, they are also producing the special variety of the tobacco which is making to use the cigar. Virginia tobacco in India is produced mainly in Andhra Pradesh. More than 2/3 of the total tobacco production comes from the Andhra, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. Moving to the rubber. Rubber is the native to India and Malaysia. It gives out a milky white juice from its bark. You can see in the picture how they have tied the bowl here, because that milky white juice, whatever coming out from the bark, they can collect here. You can see on every tree this bowl has been hanged so that produce can be fell on the bowl only. Rubber was later also made from the exhaustion of the several South American trees, especially Havea, etc. Now, however, the greatest innovation was synthetic rubber was a substitute for the natural rubber. Means these days we are using the synthetic rubber also. Synthetic rubber are polymers tailored for specific needs. The rubber plant can grown in India. First plantation was started by the British in 1902. Its main requirement: temperature 21 to 35 degrees centigrade and rainfall 170 to 300 centimeter rainfall. It requires fresh cleared forest soil and alluvial soil for its growth. Propagation is done by the seeding and bud grafting. 90% of total rubber production in India comes from Kerala, and then rest is Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andaman and Nicobar Island. Now these were the commercial crops. Moving to the agricultural development. Human population of the world day by day increasing. This time India is the largest populous nation of the world. 6 billion in 2001 we have crossed. Then in another 25 years time, 3 billion food grains or cereal will be needed annually to feed the people. How could it possible when the land is sustained, when land is fixed, population is ever growing, increasing day by day, how we can increase the crop production from the small piece of land? This is the biggest anxiety to the world. Our concern is not to present a gloomy picture of the world's food need, but to stress the need of development of agriculture. We need the scientific agriculture these days. It is quite possible to raise the food production on the scientific line only. So, moving to the green revolution, what we can do, the use of scientific techniques in the agriculture ushered many countries including India into the green revolution. Through green revolution, we were able to increase the crop production. In Mexico also, high yield strains of wheat produce dwarf variety of wheat which could grow under a wide variety of climatic condition. This effort simultaneously began in India. By 1967 to 1968, there were phenomenal increase in the agricultural production. The International Rice Research Institute developed the vigorous dwarf strain of rice. ICAR helped a lot to develop hybrid rice seeds, and similar efforts were later expanded to the oil seeds and other agricultural crops. So because of these scientific methodology, we are unable to utilize the green revolution and to increase the production. Apart from other measures are land reforms and irrigation facilities. We need to consolidate our lands. Land reforms are necessary, especially in the developing country where there are small holdings of land. So we need to consolidate so that it can become the big land form. This consolidation is known as chakbandi. The status of farmers promoted the use of better farm machines to provide the better irrigation facilities through the construction of dams, and our administration sites, prices of agriculture products were also established. So we can do the land reforms and agriculture irrigation facilities so that we can increase the production. Then meat and milk products we are going to discuss. In the earlier decades, not much attention has been given to the dairy farming or the rearing of the livestock, but these days we can utilize them. Now that fast movement of the transportation, refrigeration, communication facilities are available worldwide, so meat and milk products are entering into the international market at a large scale. And rising of demand, factory-like methods are now being applied in rearing the meat and milk animals. So that also we can do. Then health of farmers. Attention is now paid to the health of farmers so that they become efficient producer of this vital commodity. These programs include education of the farmers, awareness, subsidies on fertilizers, making health services available in the villages. Then after that, what we can do, alternative food sources we need to find. The cereal crops are the staple food of the people in the most part of the world. They have been used since the dawn of civilization. So recent efforts are directed towards the finding the alternative source to the cereal and even meat. Protein-rich sources including protein-rich plants like soya bean, harvesting algae, seaweeds for food, cultivation of the bacteria, yeast and fungi, as well as obtaining food from various other plant sources to meet the needs of the expanding human population. So we need to find the alternative food sources. Now there is a case study has been given in your book, a farm in the USA. America is a very developed country. So two factors which make important, that is the human and mechanization in America. In America there is a large land holding. Farmers are having the big land size as compared to India, and that's why they are highly mechanized farm. So human resource and mechanization made the farmhouse in advance, or you can say the large variety and large amount of crops can be grow there. So USA focused on the human decision making and machines are used for doing all works. American farming is now the scientific and advanced technology farming. And then if you are going to see a single farmer family owned large farm, on average 500-acre land. It is the much larger land as compared to India, and most of the manual labor is managed by the machine, like ploughing, seeding, drilling, harvesting, threshing, everything, every activity is mechanized here. And even poultry, dairy cattle provide daily needs grains and stored in tall steel structure known as silos. They make this go down type silos, steel structure where they are going to keep their grains. A village in USA is well laid out in all facilities, providing the community and the rural life is very comfortable. Now if you are going to compare this USA farm with the farm in India, you can see the condition. There the land holdings are very small, not highly mechanized, not highly facilities are provided to the farmers, and even the population are increasing and the land is having the pressure to increase the temperature. The agriculture is the main production or main occupation of India. We have tried to increase the production from the green revolution, but you can find where the 2 acres or 1 acre size and where the 500 acre size of the farmer. So this is the basic reason for lagging behind. So because of the 2 acre land or 1 acre land, the farmers are not able to use the highly mechanized or machineries, etc. The successful projects we have started, like we have made the dams for the proper irrigation. Bhakra Nangal Dam is providing the irrigation facilities to the different states of India. Then we are having the successful story of the Amul in Gujarat, where we have increased the milk production also. But still we are lagging behind in the agriculture, need to work on the best facilities providing to the farmers and Indian agriculture. Now we are going to discuss the important points of the chapter. The type of farming can generally be divided into 2 categories. One is the subsistence agriculture, which is for own consumption, and another is a commercial agriculture, which is for the trade or commercial purpose. Then in subsistence agriculture, farmers generally raise the crops to fulfill their own needs, and shifting cultivation is also known as jhoming in northeast India. Then crops are raised for the sale in the market, that is the commercial value. Commercial crops, tea, rubber, coffee are the major plantation crop. They are grown at a monoculture. China, Indonesia, Bangladesh, India are the major rice producing area. Then India is the largest tea producing country. China, USA, India are the major cotton producing country also. Intensive farming is the common in the continent of Asia. The success of any plantation, that depends upon its holding of the worldwide market. New Zealand is also known for its dairy farming. Sericulture refers to the breeding of silkworm to get the silk. So these all were the important points, and that's end for the chapter. I hope you understand each and every concept. Please do the exercise carefully.